Good morning and welcome to Carnation Crafts TV. We are live from the Carnation Crafts TV studios this morning. It is very lovely and warm and sunny here. I hope it is for you guys too. We're bringing with you today, we've got 3 shows today and all 3 of them are going to focus on the launch of the Orchard Outing collection, which launches live on the Carnation Crafts website in their shop today. So we're going to bring you 3 shows and they're all going to be slightly different. So we're going to start out looking at the 3 main frames, and then the lunchtime show we'll focus on that as well, but we'll also start looking at stamping and bringing those into your collections. And then this afternoon's one, which I think is at 6 o'clock this evening, we'll have a look at composition as well. So we're going to go through the day and kind of change those demos out. So it is, like I say, lovely to have you all here. We have got the Orchard Outing collection on the website. It's already launched on the website now, so you can go and get that. The number for it is 220301. If you feel happier, just type in Orchard Outing. It will also be on the main banner going across the page, so you can click onto that and it'll take you straight to it. Just while you're there, if you're wanting to get in early, the perfect papers are also on there, and their code number for the perfect papers are 220313. If you've subscribed to the Carnation Crafts YouTube, if you've subscribed to the newsletter, is what I was meaning to say, then you can use your code and get 10% discount on that as well. So make sure you use that, because obviously always nice to have it cheaper while you can. So we will be having a look at these. We're going to have a look at the boards, and we're going to have a look at all the different ways that you can use this in some demos today. But I just want to talk to you about YouTube and the subscription for that. So some of you will be watching this on Facebook, and you may or may have not seen that we have been driving a social media post where you can win £500 worth of vouchers in the Carnation Crafts shop. And that's on the website. Now, the website is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. This was launched last week. It is £500 for a UK subscriber and £500 for somebody who lives outside the UK, so rest of the world. Now, we launched it, and unfortunately some scamming took place, and that scamming unfortunately meant that a lot of you got messaged, private messages, saying that you had won, which did not happen, unfortunately. And it was just one of those problems. Yes, Miss Taz?
They will find out who wins on the 25th
of April.
With our new launch.
With our new launch. There you go. So the winner will be announced on the 25th of April with our new launch, and we'll announce it on Carnation Crafts TV. So it'll be here. It's probably going to be me or Hannah that will announce that, or possibly Dave or Wheeler. It depends who's here, and we will announce the winner here. It will not be announced via your message. Carnation, we're never going to send you unsolicited messages to your message bot. We're just not going to do that. That's not what we do. But if you haven't seen the competition and you would like to enter, the way we do that is to go through YouTube. So you go to the YouTube channel, which is Carnation Crafts TV. So switch on to YouTube and just search Carnation Crafts TV. It'll come up, it'll look like this. And all you're going to do, you see that big red subscribe button there. We're going to click that. It is completely free. Now, for those of you who don't use YouTube often, I understand why that can seem confusing, because often when we subscribe to something, we have to pay for it. Obviously, with this particular channel, we're not asking you to pay for anything at all. Just hit subscribe. There is also a notification bell on YouTube as well. When you click that notification bell, it will say to you, do you want them all? Do you want personalized notifications? That kind of thing. Just select all, and every time we go live on this channel, it will just notify you. It'll just say Carnation Crafts TV is live. It's not going to keep notifying you, and it's not going to particularly annoy you, and we don't go live that often, but it will just give you a nudge and say we are on the telly box, so you can join us then on YouTube. It does also stream to Facebook, but you must subscribe to that channel in order to be in with a chance of winning the competition. There are other things that you need to do. You need to share the YouTube channel, share the post. If you go onto the Carnation Crafts page on Facebook, just type in Carnation Crafts, it'll come up. That's got all the details in it there. But unfortunately, if you have been messaged, it was just scammers. That's not anything to do with the giveaway that that we're running at the minute. The winner will be announced. Did you say the 25th, Taz?
Yeah, on our
25th on our new launch. That's very exciting. And the new launch is really pretty, just so you know. But we're talking about this one today. So Orchard Outing, some of you saw it a couple of weeks ago. It is absolutely stunning. So this is all about spring, it's all about summer, it's all about those fruits and everything coming to life, and oh, really nice to see it, isn't it? We have had some sunny days, but then suddenly went insane. If you want to email in, I think you can email in, can they, Miss Taz?
I would do Facebook today.
Facebook today?
Yeah,
do it on the Facebook. Comment on Facebook. Are you looking, Taz?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Taz has got your back. So this is the orange frame. Now, what I love about this particularly is I really love working with circular frames because I think it gives us a different outlook on the cards that we're making. It comes with 3 extra dies on the outside here. So you've got your mats and layers, and then you've got your extra elements for the center. And as much as we're showing you it with this here, you don't have to have that central panel with the fruit on the inside. You can actually have one full circle that's just this green color. Now, when I say the green color, all of these here are vignettes. That is the artwork that is created to go exactly and precisely with the dies that we sell. And so when you go to the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk, one of the things that we can do is go to downloads, and then we can go to free downloads. Are you following me on, Taz? You're very good. So we can go to downloads, and we can go to free downloads, or you can go to vignette downloads for dies, whichever you want. And you can select on the right hand side, you can go to collections, and it will tell you which ones you can collect. And they're all there, whichever you want. And we can get the Orchard Outing, as you can see Taz doing there. Now, where you see all of these little images here, and you see free, these are all your vignettes. Now, one of those will be the full collection, and you can just download it as one big PDF. But some people like to just do them individually. So you might just want to do your orange frame. You print it out. Now, where Taz is sitting right there, that's stay where you are, Taz. Where the birds are, you can see those birds have got a black line running down the center in between the birds there. That's a mirrored vignette. So when you print ones out that look like that, not all of them have the black line, you are folding your paper on the black line, and you are using some spray glue of some description to stick it together, and you put your die on top, pop it through your machine, and you will get a vignette that has an image on both the back and the front, which means we can use them as left or right. So you're almost getting double for your money there. You can see you've got all your free backing papers, you get inserts on there, they're all free for you to use. So please do take advantage of all of that. It's got a free angel policy, so you can sell everything that you make with Carnation, which I think is super generous and always good to know, because some of us do run businesses, so really nice to have. While I'm there, I'll just say that for printing purposes, entirely up to you what you do. I'm not trying to push it, but I am saying if you want the colours to be as vivid as we get on these vignettes that we're showing you here, so the one on this board where you've got those gorgeous oranges, this beautiful colourway, you will only be able to achieve that kind of colour by using Pro print paper, and Carnation do sell it. If you're new to all of this and you don't know which GSM to use, and you'd quite like to have the vignette on both sides, so if I show you this vignette here where I've got it, you can see that I've got the floral on this side. Now, normally with any kind of die cut, you would have the image on one side and it would be white on the other. Now, when I turn this, you'll see that it's the same on both sides. I can use my left and I can use my right perfectly. So that's a mirrored vignette. If you want to achieve that really good colour value, then you're going to need Pro Print. If you're doing it on a mirrored vignette, use the 120 GSM, because once you've folded it, you've obviously got 240. If you're just doing the single-sided, my advice, you'll have your own preference, but I would say 220 because it's just a bit more stable, but 170 will work as well. And if you're printing out your backing papers, I personally use 220 for my backing papers because I like them to be sturdier, but I know a lot of people like to use the 170. But certainly for your mirrored vignettes, stick with your 120 Pro paper. It will make a huge amount of difference. So that's your orange frame that we've looked at here. And then we come to your lemon frame. Look at this. It makes my mouth water. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Now imagine that with white behind it. There's something about white and orange and white and yellow that just work so beautifully. So don't worry too much, you know, build your layers up, make sure they're really stabilized, and they will look amazing. And some of the cards that you've been putting in the Carnation Crafters group recently have just been overwhelmingly beautiful. So I know you already know what you're doing, but these are incredible. Cut into them as well. You can cut, you know, the center pieces out. You can do all kinds of these to make just loads of different ways. Then we've got your apple frame. I love this. So your DL shape, obviously we can use that portrait or landscape, and you can do lots of different things. Again, you could just have the green center there if you want it. So really, really beautiful. Moving on to the extras that we get in the collection. I can't remember the name of the different dies here. This is the Around the Orchard. Excuse me. So you've got this beautiful shed. I love this little shed here. Now what we can do is, if you're very, very careful, and please do be careful, you can just use the little craft knife just to cut those pips, or you could do it with scissors, and the door will actually open, which means we can get these little chicks' bums. Aren't they cute? That's like me and you, Taz. Little chicks' bottoms. And then they will sit on this lovely bridge here with mum and dad as well, duck, and they're just so cute, and it makes these gorgeous little grounding devices. And I love this because we can actually sculpt this out and make it rotund, so when it looks like they're literally walking over the bridge, which I love. And you've got the vine here, which we can use as a grounding device, or we can use it as a sort of a decorative embellishment. And then we've got your beautiful trees here. These are aces. So you've got the 3 different sizes. So you've got perspective. You can have a piece where it goes off into the distance, or you can just use them depending what your card shape is. We've got your little basket, and you can fill your basket with fruit, or it looks super cute filled with little chicks as well. It's very sweet. And you've got your reeds here and this lovely ladder. The ladder's great for perspective as well, and it really, really works with this collection in the loveliest of ways. Probably one of my favourite here, we have got the Grove Guest. This bird is so pretty, and you know, it reminds me, is it the sort of vintage Victorian kind of paintings, Taz? Is that what I'm thinking of? Where they used to have them often on like Christmas tins and stuff. They would have that kind of Victorian artwork, and it really reminds me of that. Something really beautiful about it. And you've got this little gift that the bird can be holding as well. Remember, we can snip away bits, so you don't need to have the branch there or the branch there if you don't want it. These are elements that we can use or we can discard depending on the type of card that we're building. And I will look at this bird in my first demo because I think it's knockout. Really cute. We've got the fruit blossom corners. Aren't these gorgeous? Really pretty. Shape all of these out. You've got your decoupage elements here. Now remember, with all of Carnation Craft dies, you've got the extra 2 here, so you can create your card base and your mats and layers. So you could make a card just from this. Now, while I'm on here and I'm just looking at this, I want to explain something because we get so many questions about this. If you have a look at this image, just where my fingers are, you'll see a little split and a little split. That's not something gone wrong on the graphic. Your die, when you get it home, will have a split in it as well. It's meant to come in 2 halves. And that is so we can do sort of overhanging cards. So they can go right over, and so you can fold your card back. I'm going to do a full demo on this at some point. I'm going to do, actually I'll take that back, I'm going to do a full tutorial. Lots of people don't make use of those, and they're so handy to have. So let's do a full tutorial on them at some point. So keep your eye, like I say, hit that notification bell on YouTube, because when I go, we're not just going to be doing shows, we will be doing tutorials as well. If you've got the notifications hit, you don't have to watch there and then, but you know it's been uploaded to YouTube, so you can come back and watch it whenever you want. So we will do those split dies and we'll do a full demo on it. But when you get it home, it's not broken. It is meant to have those 2 halves. So that is just a really stunning die. And then this one, I really like this because what it does is kind of gives you a finishing element to your cards. And that little dog leaning on that lady's back is how I feel most days, Miss Taz.
That is me and you.
That is me and
I'm not
you.
going to say who's who though.
We don't know who's who. Actually, I do. It's always me having the nana nap at the back here, because that's my life. But just again, a really beautiful element to have. And when we've got that ladder, and you can have her sitting at the back, at the bottom of the ladder, as if she's been picking fruit all morning, or you can have her sitting against that shed. It's just a really gorgeous piece. If you've got a gardener in your life, absolutely, this is a corking element to send. And then we've got these beautiful pieces here. So these are your lace band and your wee sort of leaves, your skeletons there, the light work that Carnation do so well. And it is just a really, really beautiful collection. And these lace bands are great for doing your elements that just kind of... they fill out, they texturize what we're doing. What's also here today is your I love these. So I was playing with these the other day, actually with some different demos, not actually for Orchard Outing. I was just using them for something else. These are a right corking little set, because you've got these massive ones, which are great. Then you've got the smaller ones, which are here, and then you've got the teeny tinies. It means it doesn't matter what size space you've got for your sentiment. Sometimes we don't have a lot of room, so we need the tiny ones. Sometimes we've got, you know, a stonking amount of room that we could really do with filling if we could. And that's when we can use those bigger stamps, and they come in so well and they're so crisp when you stamp with them. I've had a great time. So we're going to have a look at a bit of stamping this afternoon. We'll just be stamping out some of these sentiments with a couple of cards. So, you know, nothing, we're not changing craft, so to speak, but just to show you how they come in. Look at that, isn't that pretty? So I think that's the thing, isn't it? Stamping can really finish a card in a really beautiful way. So take advantage of it, and I really do love those. Right, I'm just putting these down here without trying not to fall off my chair, Miss Taz. It's fine, it's all fine, it's all good. Right, the last thing I want to show you before we go into demo is your perfect papers. So for those of you who are new, what are perfect papers? Well, they're not papers. So it's cardstock. So it's 300 GSM. It's called perfect papers just for alliteration. That's just a name. They did say yesterday at Taz that we should call them corking cardstock.
Oh, I like that one.
So, you know, we could maybe change the name in our heads. But they're really beautiful colours. Now, the way that Carnation Crafts perfect papers work is that they are tone on tone. And they match the vignettes. So if I was to take, can I just put this here? Can you see? Now, it doesn't matter which one of these I put this with. It will tonally be the same. And it will work with every single one. So colour theory is quite a complicated process to learn, but basically you could have two opposing colours on the colour wheel which you would expect to work perfectly well. So say for instance green and pink, they would automatically work beautifully well together. However, if your hue is not correct, they won't work well together, and colour theory is hard. So Carnation take it out from it. We don't have to deal with colour theory. They take care of everything for us. So what that means is it doesn't matter which vignette I put on which of my perfect papers, it's going to absolutely match. And that is just a real boon to have. But it also means, yes, we've got the tone on tone. So I've got my dark orange with my paler sort of yellow colour here, which obviously work as a pair for your mattes and layers. Same with your pinks, same with your greens. But I could actually match in my orange here with my green, and it would work because everything is taken care of. And what I will say while I'm here is when you look at the pink, if I switch it over to this one here, you see the pink that we've got, the light pink here, that's colour picked. So once that painting is done, it's colour picked, and your perfect papers are made using that colour picked colour. So you cannot get any clash. And then they also go on to make the free backing papers, which you get off the website. And I've got a couple of them here. I printed some out. And these, again, tonally work with all of them. So you can see all of your backing papers coming through. I haven't done it. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So they all work together. And that's just how Carnation do things. It's basically, we want you to make amazing cards. And the way you do that, obviously, is a lot to do with colour theory. So that's your perfect papers. You'll find those on the Carnation Crafts shop, which is on their website. So www.carnationcrafts.com. carnation.co.uk, and the number for them is 220313. For the main collection, it's 220301. And again, you can find all your details about shipping and handling. We do ship out to the US and to other countries. It's £4.95, I believe. What are you saying to me, Miss Taz? Do I want a cup of tea?
No.
That's still an inappropriate time when I'm in the middle of a show.
She's
either doing the YMCA to me or she's asking me if I want a cup of tea, and I don't know which one.
If you want to subscribe to YouTube.
I'm already subscribed to the YouTube channel, but you can subscribe at home as well. Oh, that's what you were doing. A Y and a T. I thought you were doing the YMCA, and I was getting a bit perplexed because it seemed like really bad timing.
Did they get entered into a competition?
So yeah, if going back to being professional and not doing the YMCA, if you hit the subscribe button and you follow the rules of the competition, you'll be entered for the competition. It's 500 quid's worth of stuff from the Carnation Craft shop, which is on the website, and £500 is nothing to be sniffed at. You could get you could be looking at like full collections. You could be looking at papers, and bear in mind as well, if you wanted to go onto the Carnation Crafts shop and have a look round, the whole collections and the perfect papers that they sell are actually a small amount of the things that they sell in the shop. They also sell things like the ball tools that we've got here. They sell all kinds of sorts of things. Elevate. They sell Elevate. My favourite ever thing. They sell Elevate. So you can go and get loads of stuff from the shop. So don't think that those £500 vouchers are just going to be like, oh, well, you know, they'll just be sitting there. If you are a crafter, there are so many things that you can find on that shop that you can do. It doesn't look like you're searching in anything there, Miss Taz. Were you actually? Did you not hit the button?
Shush.
Sorry. There, look at all the things.
There's an Elevate collection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Look at all the things you can buy. So that, you know, you've got these vouchers. You are not just having to buy collections. It's a shop. Go and find nested dies. When are you not going to need your nested dies? So this competition is just incredibly generous from the team there at Carnation, and you're going to have so much fun doing it. Right, shall we demo, Miss Taz?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what we're going to have a look at is the frames that come in this collection. So we're going to have a look at the orange one, I believe, first. Okay, I don't think I've actually used the oranges with it, so we will have a look. What we're going to do is, on the die itself, I'm going to ruin the set now. Sorry, Taz. I know, sorry. I just want to show this. So when we're looking at these, I'll just get rid of that glare. The metal that you get the little dies on the outside. Now, can you see, you then also get your central piece, which is going to sit on top of your vignette, which is that free artwork. And then you get extra dies on the inside here. And you can choose to use them or not. If you don't use them, you will just get that beautiful green circle in the centre if you're using the vignette. They look beautiful cut in white. I've got to tell you, these look amazing cut in white as well. So you can build and you can layer on these. And what I'm going to use is this outside die, the biggest die in the whole pack. I'm going to use that and I'm going to cut it twice. Then I'm going to try and put this back on without destroying the set. We did it. So I've cut it twice. And what I'm doing here is scoring at 1/2 inch. Now the reason we do this and the reason that we score at 1/2 inch is because we need to stabilize that card. It doesn't actually matter what size you do it. There's some people who make cards who score almost halfway down. It doesn't matter. The idea is that we're stabilizing. I choose to do 1/2 inch because I like my card to open out quite flat if I want it to be lower. So it means that the person receiving it can either choose to have their card higher up or much lower down, depending where they fold. So that's my theory on it. And then we're going to fold that down and we're just going to make sure that that is well and truly scored back. So it's sitting right back away from itself. And then I'm going to use a pokey and I'm just going to remove that red liner tape and then get that. Oh, it was stuck to me again. Yeah. I maybe need some talcum powder or something that's going to stop it from sticking to me. And then we're just going to line this up. Make sure you do line it properly because I got myself into a pickle. Right, so they're lined up. You can see that that's exact around the edges and I'm going to keep them shuffled together, and you can see having that folded back away from itself is stopping my sticky tape attaching itself to the one at the front. So it means I've got room to breathe and before I ever commit to the stick, I know I've got it in the right place. Otherwise it will stick to the piece in front of it, and whatever it sticks to, that's what you're getting. So that's why we pull that back. That gives me the beautiful temp base that I'm looking for. If you're doing something like this and it's circular, now this one sits perfectly, but if it wasn't, if it was rocking, because on this one you've got the little 3 sort of edges here and it does sit nice and flat. However, if you've put it somewhere else and you haven't looked for that, on your back piece, just take a pair of scissors and cut a straight line, and then it will sit absolutely straight. But make sure that's on the back piece, obviously not on the front piece. Then we're going to take in, look at these papers, aren't they so pretty? I love that colour. So pretty. So what I've done here is taking some 3mm tape, and we're just going to add this in, and I'm just creating some tabs here. Those of you who've seen us on Carnation, you know we use the tab process a lot. It helps just line everything up. And I'm just going to stick this in the right place. I don't want to put my head in front of the camera, so mine might be slightly askew with because I can't see straight over. But you can see how I've got that depth where that foam tape is, and it lifts it and it raises it. And again, those of you who are new, you'll see that that forms a shadow around, and that just gives it that extra depth and that extra lift. So then I'm going in with a piece of white. Now this is about the most basic demo I can give you to create something really beautiful with this collection. But if you're brand new to card making, this is going to see you right through. So I'm just going to place this one on top of here. So I've just got a hint of that orange coming through. Isn't that pretty? I love orange and white. There's something really stunning about orange and white. I love it a lot. Look how beautiful that is. I think the thing with Carnation for me is it almost feels finished before you do anything else with it, if that makes sense. It's just automatically so pretty. Let's go in with some of these florals. These are beautiful. Now what I've done, if you can just, I don't know if you'll be able to see or not really, you just see a tiny little snip mark on there, and I've just cut the corner edge away from these. So I've almost made it into a circle. I'm just going to cut that pip off, just to neaten up the process, and that makes it a semicircle, so then I can fit it in here. So instead of it having that corner edge, I've made a semicircle from it, and it just makes it super pretty. And I'm going to put those in at an angle. I don't want to have them straight. So let's take these ball tools, let's get sculpting. If I can lift these up. One day, Miss Taz, I'm going to be able to take off these ridiculous finger covers and actually be able to craft, which would be a very nice day, I can tell you that much. I'm going to turn these onto the reverse. Ball tools, so they do sell the ball tools on the website as well, and the foam mat in case you're interested in sculpting. You might not be, and that's absolutely fine, but it really does make a huge difference to your end product. So what I'm going to do is just take this and I'm going to follow the artwork. So where this floral, so you can see I was going round on this one, but where this one sits, I'm just going to follow the petals on that. It's just going to give me a little bit of extra kind of oomph. And then we can take a smaller end of our ball tool and go in with the leaves if you want to. So follow that round. It's so pretty. And what that does is give me extra dimension. Have I just lost you completely then? Sorry, Taz. But it gives you that extra dimension on all the pieces that we're doing. So you get this kind of dome work from it, and you get each piece. Look at that. It makes such an incredible difference to what we're doing. We've no longer just got some flat artwork. The flat piece is there. You can see that it's there, and you can see how much dimension we get just by shaping and sculpting. So when we come to actually stick these, it just has that really beautiful depth to it. Add some pin flare onto here. You can use foam tape if you prefer. I like pin flare because it gives me a bit of wiggle room, and I'm not the most precise of crafters. So it just gives me some time to breathe in case I've got it wrong. And I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to raise it. Can you see how I'm pushing at the back and raising at the front? And then can you see these shadows that come through the back here? So what we're doing there is just playing with light, and we're manipulating our vignettes to cause light. The only way we're going to be able to do that is by sculpting out those vignettes. If you've got pieces like my little bud here is just sitting forward, just use your pokey just to bring it forward. I'm purposefully not putting glue on those elements. I don't want them to stick. I want them to lift, so I've got that shadow play. So I'm just going to very quickly do the same thing on the other side, and we're just going to take a dome for that central one and then follow those little petals. Take your smaller ball tool, do your leaves, those buds, and just be selective. You don't need to do all. I have to be honest though, if I'm just making cards for myself, I do generally sit and do every single aspect of these, and they just look awesome. We don't have time when we're doing demos, but it does make an absolute difference to what we're doing. So I'm just manipulating that, and again I'm placing in my pin flare, and I've only got it on those two. That's the only place I'm putting it. I don't want to go anywhere else with it because I want it to sit proud like the other. So I want it to sit forward. So we're going to go opposite, near enough. And I'm just going to place and hold at the back. And that's going to leave the front sitting proud and sitting forward. Really pretty. And it just gives this element, this shadow play. And we can play and manipulate and lift up. Once you've got it set, it's all good to go. Now, pin flare is such that it will dry over a period of 24 hours. So once I finish this card, I will absolutely need to leave it flat and just leave it where it is and come back tomorrow, and it will all have hardened and be set, and it will have raised this much. But look at those shadows. Aren't they so, so pretty? So the bird, let's go in with the bird. Now, I'm not sculpting. Can you see I've got some 5mm foam tape on here? It's a thick foam tape. Now all I'm going to do is sit the bird in the centre. Like I say, this is about the most simple demo we can do, but really, really effective. The reason I'm using 5mm is because obviously I've lifted these raised up at the side and I need the bird to sit slightly proud of it, but I'm not shaping the bird. I'm just going to manipulate him. So as you can see here, I'm rocking because I've got my foam tape on. So I'm just rocking so his tail feathers come forward, and so do those leaves. And I'm just going to place him right in the centre and sit him down. And you see how his little tail comes forward? Really beautiful, really simple, really, really beautiful. But let's give him a little bit of extra dimension. So I've cut him again, and again, I've got him on 5mm. I want him to be my showstopper. I want him to be the central focus of my piece. So all I'm going to do is just turn him over. I've rocked him again so his tail goes up. Now all I'm going to do on my top one is just take my ball tool and very gently sculpt out his head. So we've got some shape. Sculpt out his wings. I'm ignoring the tummy. I'm okay with the tummy as it is. I'm going through with his tail feathers and just bringing them round. And then I'm going to turn him and I'm going to do the little buds. Just like so, and those leaves. Just like we did on the frame. And that's it. Then I'm leaving him. I don't want to go any further. And that foam tape's going to stabilise the centre of his body. But now he's just got a little bit of extra dimension. And then I'm going to try, just bear with me, don't go over head toss because I just need to lean forward. And just place this as precisely as I can on the top and get it to stick. So now we can see him sitting proud. So basically that's all I'm going to do with that card. I've got decoupage elements, so if I wanted to, while I'm here, I'll just very quickly show you one. I can take my decoupage elements and I can start to really draw in. So I can pull this, and I'm just going on the round with this because I want it to be domed. I can lift, and then I can fill it where that dome is with pin flare, turn it, find its partner on the frame, and decoupage those elements up so we get that. I'll do the other one because otherwise it's going to drive me insane because it'll be out of whack. So we're just going to do this one, same thing on the other side. And you see how embellishing just certain elements really makes a huge impact on the overall card. But that shadow play where we're lifting and raising on those edges just gives it such enormous detail. And this is literally one of the most basic cards you can use, but you can make. I've barely done anything to it. All I've done is added the two corner elements which I've snipped off, and then that bird in the middle. And it's just dimension. That's what makes it so impactful. It's the dimension, it's the shadow play, it's all of those things that come together, and it will really make a huge difference to your cards. It's pretty, right, Taz?
I love it.
Really lovely how you get that build on the dimension and stuff, isn't it? But it's so easy to achieve, you know. Ball tools are your best friend. Sculpting out some of those pieces of paper, your absolute best friend. And then just layering, make your layers impactful and use shadow. Shadow's free, use it. So I love it for that. Right, are we going straight into another demo? Do you want me to do? Do you want to go to a website and have a look?
Yeah.
So the vignettes that I've been using is the artwork that's free. Nick, our creative director for Carnation Crafts, he designs all of these. It's all done in-house. They're all very, very beautiful. And so you can go to downloads and then go to free downloads. And either you can go on the right-hand side and select which one you want, or you can specifically type in the one that you want. So Orchard Outing for this one. But bear in mind, they're all there. And when you click onto that and search, it will bring up all the terms for Orchard Outing, everything that goes with this collection. So you can see you can buy the full product there. Yes, Miss Taz?
What about if I want individual dies?
If you want individual dies, again, you can scroll down. They should all be there individually, but if you want the full lot, you can go searching for them by name. We can do bundles. There is everything that you need. So here you can say where it says collection, go to Orchard Outing. Okay, and there's all your individuals. So you'll see your vignettes individually and you'll see your individual dies. For a lot of us, we don't have the money to do a full bundle, but or as a crafter, you might just see one element you think that is going to go with so many of the types of cards that I make. And this is where you get your individuals. And again, make sure you are subscribed to the Carnation Crafts newsletter. And they'll send you a voucher code, and you do that through the website as well. And they'll send you a voucher code each month, which gives you a 10% discount, I believe. But you've got to be subscribed, otherwise you won't get that code. And again, remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel and get yourself put in for that competition, because £500 is not to be sniffed at. £500 is a very, very good deal. So you've got to hit that subscribe button. And it's the big red one there. It does not cost to hit subscribe. For those of you that missed the beginning of this, just to reiterate, lots of people got involved in the competition. They subscribed, they did all of the right things, and then they got a lovely little private message on Facebook telling them that they were the winner. That was a scam. The competition itself is not a scam. It's absolutely correct. However, somebody did then go on and do something very bad. There's very bad people in the world, and sent private messages out to people saying they'd won. They hadn't won. We'll be announcing the winner on the 25th of April when we go with the new launch. It'll be announced here on Carnation Crafts TV. So if you get anything else in your inbox, do not hit any links. Please, please, please do not hit any links, and never, ever put your private details into anything like that, even if it's just down to your name. Unless you know it's come direct from Carnation and you know it's come from Carnation, don't touch it. We would never send anything unsolicited. Protect yourself at all times. Is that me done on that?
Yeah, well done.
Thanks, babes. So we're going to demo again. I just want to show you the frames really on this. I'm just throwing my rubbish willy-nilly down here. Do not look, Mark and Nick, at me throwing things willy-nilly in your studio. So same thing we're going to do, but we're using the square frame this time, and these frames are just so gorgeous, aren't they? Always remember, and I will do some of these later on, but always remember, when we're using these frames, we don't need to just actually use the two pieces at the back. I'm just demoing them so you see them in their full glory, but we don't have to use them. You can use, for instance, if I was to take that orange frame, I can use it on an 8x8 card. I don't know if I've got any examples here, but you could use it on an 8x8 card and use that beautiful circle frame in the center of that. So, you know, think outside the box rather than just thinking of it as being the one thing. So again, we're making our temp base here, same way that we always do. Make sure that's away from you. If you've got the multimedia mat, always remember to use this ridge at the bottom, and always remember to clean yours before you go live onto air, unlike my god self. And we're just using that ridge there just to create that temp base. Do you know what's really funny about this mat, Taz, and how dirty it is? A, it's brand new. It's only had me using it for like 2 days. Sorry, Mark. And B, I did think, oh, you must change that over for a cleaner one. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. But if it's any consolation, there was about 30 seconds to go before we went live this morning, and I suddenly shouted to Taz in a very loud voice and frightened her, I haven't got my finger covers, they're downstairs. Miss Taz had to run down the stairs like a lunatic, and then she did. She went and got them for me. I put them on, and then her little watch told her that she'd done her day's exercise. So I helped. It's a good thing, Taz, not a bad thing. And I'll maybe give you a packet of hula hoops or something afterwards to congratulate you. How's that sound? Right, I'm just pulling my tabs off here. So these are 3mm pieces of foam tape. Now this is very, I love this so much. There's so much drama that goes on just on that piece of backing paper. It's just stunning, but it's too dark for me. I wouldn't ever just leave it that way. There's too much colour. It's too powerful for me because I feel like whatever I put on top of it, that's going to overpower it. So for me, personally, some people love having that much drama. It's just the way I craft. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to soften it, but I want the edge of that drama that comes with that backing paper. So I'm just going to place this on top, and I've got chunky foam tape. So you can see I now have a chunky card, and I've got this beautiful kind of dark colour on the outside, and then this gorgeous summer day, beautiful backing paper, really pretty. Remember, you don't have to use the backing papers. You can, of course, get the perfect papers. Oh, my brain, did you see my brain stop? My brain just stopped. I had a moment. Right, we're going in with these corners again. So this time we've got the full corner. You can see on the other one I had cut it off to create a circle. This time I'm leaving the corners on, and I'm just going to very quickly use a ball tool on these. I won't go into it again because you've seen me do it already. So we're just sculpting those out. And do the same with the other. Corner panels are always going to be super important on your card. And the reason that they're so important on your cards is because they are the things that draw your focus to the center of the card. So those corners are always going to be important. I'm just using that there. So we've got choices, and it's where you want to place them. Now I can leave it domed, and I can put plenty, look at that, put plenty of pinfire on, or I can push it flat and just use that dome in to just create an aesthetic. So it looks now like it's a chunkier piece. It's up to me what I choose to do. In this particular instance, I am going to just take it down slightly. So when I put the pin flare on the back of it, I'll then push slightly, but it means I need to use less pin flare than I did last time. So we're not using huge swathes of it this time. We've just got sort of smaller amounts. And that means that when I push, it's going to push that down slightly more. You see now, I just get that chunky edge, but I don't have that lift. So I still have some shadow, but not huge amounts, whereas the last one rested on shadow. This one is resting more on the actual sort of chunkiness, if you like. I'm going to go in this side. Again, we use pin flare because it's got wiggle room. If I come in and I decide when I am putting my composition together that I want something to tuck behind this for the whole time that I'm making this card, be that half an hour, be it 10 minutes, I can use a pokey and I can lift this up and manipulate because I can push underneath. So I can still raise it. If that was wet glue, I would have, I don't know, a couple of minutes, if that, and it would already have adhered, but this will let me wiggle it for quite a while, so you've got that extra space. Now I've got this beautiful tree. I love these trees. I've got this beautiful tree and I'm going to use it as a background piece. So I'm not particularly using it in the fore of my card, but in the back of it. Now you won't be able to see clearly on these, but each one of these little leaves in here, which is a stroke of genius, is like a little, can you see? Can you see the tip of my, there you go. You can see the tip of my pokey coming through. So those leaves are individual. That's how much detail Carnation go to, and I love them for that, because as somebody who loves to manipulate paper, that gives me, it's broken the weave of my paper, so I can really go to town with the sculpting on it. I don't have to be gentle. So I'm just using the bigger ball tool here, and I'm just kind of going in little circular motions, and that's going to give me a lovely shape. And then I'm going to use the smaller ball tool. I'll actually use a smaller one that is the appropriate size. Just go through the trunk, gently on the trunk, because I'm just going into these very delicate areas. So I'm being very soft, and then I'll just raise that down, and I'm following Nick's shading line, so I'm going that way. We always follow the shading when we're sculpting. Now you can see that that's way too domed. That's not going to do me any favours at all. And I don't actually want to put any glue on the trunk at all. So what I'm going to do is turn it and just pull that upwards, and it's going to straighten out that trunk, but I'll still have that doming on the trunk so it looks like it's going round. But my actual tree top is, look at that. Look at that round on it. Isn't it pretty, Taz? Just gorgeous. So pin flare, best friend, because I don't know exactly where I want this tree to go. So I'm just going to place the pin flare. Now what I could do is put loads of pin flare all around, but I don't want to. I'm placing it just in that centre point in case I need to move it, because then I've got wiggle room. So for now, we'll just put this little trunk under here, and I'm just going to place it off centre about there and just leave it alone. I don't want to push, I don't want to do anything because I want to work out my placements on it. Then I'm going to go in with the shed. I'm not going to do too much with the shed because sheds are obviously, as a general rule, hopefully fairly straight, unless you're at my house, and then it's possibly on the wonk. I've just bought a step ladder, just so you know, Taz, in case I ring you tomorrow needing you to help me get to A&E. I need to cut my tree. Got to get up high. Now I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use some pin flare, but just to let you know, you can, I don't know if I'll be able to show you well enough, if I use my pokey again. Nick has put the cut lines specifically, can you see where my pokey's coming out? Where that little door handle is, I can cut round that and I can open the door, and then I could have some little chicks coming out of my shed, which is super cute. I don't have any chicks in my garden, but I do have Marv, who is a little dormouse. I'm just going to raise this up. Now you see where pin flare becomes your best friend? Because I want to tuck this in. I want that tree as a background behind this shed, so it gives me all the room. Now if I'd have put pin flare all over that tree and then moved it, what I would have done is had a streak of glue across my page. That's why we only put it very, very specifically in certain places, because now we can shift and we can change. So I'm just using that tree as a background there. Now obviously you can see where that branch is, and it looks like my tree is floating in mid-space, which wouldn't be surprising in my garden, but let's just disguise that slightly. And there you go. And then, can you see how we're working in a diagonal here, because we've got the two corners, so we're working down. So we're going to follow that through, and we're going to finish with the bridge with the two beautiful ducks. Now, I'm pretty sure I had some chicks, but I think they've gone missing. But my chicks are tiny, and that's maybe why. So I'm just going to fold this around my finger here, just get that really, really rounded, and then pull my ducks right forward. You see them standing proud here. Now they're too proud there, and that's absolutely fine because I can play with them afterwards. But what I'm trying to do is rotate that around my finger so I'm getting the round of that bridge. Then I'm going to fill that with pin flare. I'll be a little bit more generous on this because I know these are going to stick where I'm putting them. We're working in that space coming down. So I'm just going to place them here. Put those little ducks, again, standing proud. So you've got that shadow play, we've got all of that loveliness coming through, and we've still got some space down here, so we're coming through on that diagonal and everything works together. And then just a couple of decoupage layers and we are done on this. And the decoupage just kind of finishes stuff off, which is lovely. I'm going to turn these both on the reverse, just go through, don't use that size ball tool, go to the one that's right. Your big ball tool, the biggest side on the biggest ball tool, you should only ever really be using when you've got huge areas. Don't use it on the smaller pieces because it'll crush that paper. You don't want the paper crushing, you just want it to, you know, be manipulated. Going in on your florals here. So I'm just going to fill out this one here. And again, we're focusing on that diagonal. So I'm raising that one and then I'm raising it on the opposite side here. So you'll have that sweep through. You could always do all of them if you wanted, but I like just certain elements to be brought out. And we're just going to have that place there. And again, we have a perfectly gorgeous finished card. Aren't they so pretty? There's something about this collection, isn't there? There's something really beautiful about summer, about the garden, about, you know, everything coming together and feeling that kind of summer vibe that's coming along. And I think this is just really beautiful for all of those elements. Makes you think you can hear fuzzy wumbles, little bumblebees. Taz does not like bumblebees. She gets very upset when they come near. We've got time for one more demo, or are we done, babes? You want me to see the boards? Oh, she's going to make me bend over. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Ugh. I am too old for the bending over. Right, here we go. Can you see them? Have I got them? Yes. So this is your orange. I love this. Orange and white will always be one of my favourite combinations of colours. Orange and white is just spectacular. When you start making cards, honestly, when you first go in with this frame, just cut the white, all your mats and layers out in white, and then use the orange on top of it. And actually just finish right there. Just make a card, do all of your layers in white with foam tape between to cause your shadow, and just put that on top. Little sentiment in the middle. That's your card. It's stunning. Maybe we'll have a play with that later on, but it is stunning just like that. So that's your orange frame. The lemon frame, look, 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 look. Prettiness, and you've got all of that vibe coming through, and just the beautiful sort of half lemon in the center there, which is just so pretty. We've got the apple frame, which is your DL. This you're going to be able to use in a lot of ways, and one of the ways I used it a lot when I was doing demos is to cut out the little, so I kept this green piece here and I cut out these little pieces in the center. Really played with that frame. DLs are always useful because obviously they look so great when we use them in landscape as well. So you've just seen me using these elements in my last demo, and they are gorgeous. You've got the beautiful shed. We've got the ducks on the bridge with that. So when Taz was doing the YMCA, that's what she looked like. She looked like these little chicks because she was doing a bit of a dance, and it was all very. She was not doing the YMCA. So that's around the orchard, and then you've got the gorgeous trees with these. And these again, when we start playing, you see the demos later on today, and you start seeing that basket filling up with loads of stuff. You've just seen me use the trees, so you know how all of those things come together. And that ladder, when it goes off into the orchard, it looks like you're picking from an orchard when you use that ladder, and it's especially with the DL frame, when it goes off onto one side, it's just so gorgeous. And then my favourite, I think, just beautiful, this bird. So this one is called the Grove Guess. I just love it so much. You saw that in the first demo that we did, and that shadow play that comes through. So from something that sits flat there to something exquisite. Isn't that pretty? So gorgeous. So do make the most of that one. And then from there, we've got your beautiful corners, and these are your fruit blossom corners here. Beautiful colours. You've got the gorgeous leaves, you've got those gorgeous florals, and all of the pieces that go in together. Then we've got this beautiful lady and her dog. There is a real name for this dice set. I just can't remember what it's called. What a team! Just like me and Taz. Again, shape it all out, put that before the shed. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then you have got your lace work here, which is insanely gorgeous. This is your lace band. These are your textures from the back. But remember to take things in with this like scrapbooking, those kind of things. And you've got your light work for your apple leaves. So we've then got the stamps, and we will be looking at these in the next show. And they're beautiful, and we're going to use them in all different ways. But again, I just want to talk to you again about the YouTube thing, just because it's been a big thing in the group, and I don't want any of you feeling vulnerable or any of you feeling, you know, that something is amiss. We would never send you messages to your private message thingy majoogie on Facebook. What's it called? Messenger. We would never send messages to there, you know, unless you had specifically messaged us and we were messaging you back. We're never going to do that without, you know, having some instigation first. Everything like that would be announced through us, never ever through your personal message box. Please do ignore it. Don't click any links. It's important not to click those links because I think they can take information and stuff. So always avoid, always avoid. But huge thank you from us, because the response to it's been amazing. It is £500. So just to reiterate, for your Orchard Outing collection, the number for the main line that you're looking at, the main collection, is 220310. The number for the papers is 220313. That's your perfect papers, and they will match exactly. You can pay by ClearPay, and you can pay by PayPal 3 PayPal 3 in.
PayPal paying 3?
Was it PayPal Pay in 3?
Yeah.
So you can pay it by PayPal Pay in 3 as well, so you can split those payments up. I'm so professional. And we'll be back at 3 p.m. We'll be having a look at the stamps and all the various other things. Amazing to have your company. Thank you so much for joining us. Take really good care and enjoy your lunch, and I'll see you later on today.